Welcome to your yoga class. I hope you're well and you're ready to start your practice. We are going to be practicing our vinyasa class for about 55 minutes. So make sure that you're settled, make sure your phone's switched off, make sure that the doors are closed, and this is now your time. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. You can be cross-legged, or you may want to sit on your knees. And if you are sitting on your knees, then just move the flesh away from your sit bones so that you feel your sit bones touching the block or the mat, and you're now starting to connect to the energy from the earth. So palms faced upwards, or perhaps just resting, whichever feels comfortable in your lap, and just relaxing the shoulders. And as you start to relax and notice your body, I invite you to close your eyes and just notice the contact points of your body to the mat or to the cushion that you sat on. And just notice the spine gently curved and the energy that is coming through the spine and circulating around your body. So let the head relax on top of the spine. And just notice the shoulders and the shoulder blades sinking down your back as you open your chest. So your spine isn't slumped, it is nice and awake, alert. And you have that sense of the subtle energy within your body. And now start to notice your breath. Where do you notice your breath most? Is it in the nostrils? Or the upper chest? Perhaps it feels a little bit tight, a bit shallow. Perhaps you notice your breath is deeper and actually allowing your belly to expand and then relax. So just notice how it feels for you right now. And one of the things that we do in yoga is to bring mindfulness to our body and our breathing, and that helps us to connect to the physical. So just notice 3 breaths as you inhale, and as you exhale, notice the journey of the breath into the body and back out again. And then at the start of every practice, we set an intention. So something positive that we feel it's important for us. So if you've had a busy day, you might feel you just want to be calm. So you'd say to yourself, I am calm. If you're perhaps feeling low in energy, you might say to yourself, I am energetic, or I am strong. So think about something that's important for you that you need right now and repeat it to yourself 3 times in the affirmative. And then keeping your eyes closed if that feels comfortable, you're just going to inhale and take your arms out to the side, shoulder height, and exhale, bringing them back down towards the floor. And one more. Inhale, arms out to the side, really stretch them to each wall. Exhale and down. And then one more. Inhale, stretch right out. And exhale, down. Now you can keep your eyes closed if that feels comfortable, or you can open your eyes and we will start to mobilize our body. So we're going to start by just dropping the head to one side, allowing that stretch into the neck, and then gently rolling the chin down onto the chest and taking it to the other side. So just resting here for a moment and noticing how this side feels compared to the other side. It'll probably be different. Maybe easier or it may be tighter. And then dropping the chin down onto the chest, and let's take that one more each side. Allowing the shoulders to drop down. And if there is any tension, just seeing if you can direct your breath into that area. So on the exhale, really try and breathe into that tightness and perhaps let it expand. Create some space. And then dropping the chin down onto the chest, taking it over to the other side, relaxing the shoulders. Again, perhaps feeling any tension, any tightness, and exhaling that breath into that space and allowing it to soften. And then dropping the chin down onto the chest and back up to center. So we're going to clasp the hands together, turn the palms towards the camera and push the shoulders out. So we're trying to perhaps have soft elbows. So keeping that position, I'll turn around so you can see it from this side. So pushing the shoulders out and rounding the shoulders as if you're trying to reach your shoulders away from your ears. You can drop the head down if that feels comfortable, or you can look straight ahead. And keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. Keep breathing. And then inhale. On an exhale, bringing the arms in, maybe giving them a little bit of a shake out. And then we're going to change the interlock of the hands, pressing the palms away from you towards the camera, but this time taking the arms up above the head. So lifting up right from the waist, really trying to push those palms towards the sky, keeping your little fingers and your thumbs tucked in, and breathing. And every time you inhale, you're pushing up, and then on the exhale, trying to take the arms back a little bit further behind you. Keeping breathing, keeping that breath going. And then inhale, exhale, arms down to the side. Just give them a shake out. Okay, so we're going to move into a forward fold. So you can sit on a block if you want to, or you can sit on your mat, and your feet need to be out in front of you. So not flexed and not pointed, but just perhaps equal, so they're not pushing too far forward or too far back. And you're going to have your hands by the side, and you're going to lift up from your chest, and on an inhale, lifting up the spine, and on the exhale, gently taking the belly towards the knees. So I'm just going to turn around and show you it from the side, so you keep where you are. So you're just gently coming forward, but you're not rounding your back. You're not doing this. You're trying to keep your chest open, tummy pulled in, and hinging from the hips. So you can look down at your knees if you want to, or you can look ahead just past your toes. And if you feel comfortable enough, you could always put your hands on your shins. Some of you might be able to touch your toes. But then just making sure that you're not rounding that back, you're keeping that back straight. So we inhale, on the exhale, come back up. So legs straight out in front of you. Going to bend the right knee into your chest and clasp it with your left arm, okay? Then you're going to take your right hand and put it behind you, and you're gently going to twist, but keep looking forward. Keep looking forward. Just start to take the shoulders and the spine around. And then when you are in a position where you can feel that lovely twist on your spine, then take your head round towards that back shoulder. And just notice your breath in this position. So making sure that the breathing is even. And then inhale. And on the exhale, come back round slowly and give the legs a bit of a shake out. So let's try that to the other side. So bending in the left knee, taking the right arm and putting it across. The left arm goes behind you, just towards near where your bum is. And then you're going to inhale and you're keeping looking forward, keep looking forward. Start to slowly turn your spine. Maybe just use your knee for support until you feel that lovely twist, and then move your head round. Moving your head round towards that back shoulder, making sure that you're sitting upright and you're breathing. So just relax any tension. Don't feel like you're pressing or pushing against your knee, or you don't feel like you're really struggling with your breath. Just keep it easy. And then inhale, and then come back round to the center and just shake out your legs. So now we're going to go on to all fours, going to extend that movement into the spine. So all fours, make sure that your hands are directly underneath your shoulders and your knees are directly underneath your hips. So just maybe moving your hips from side to side. That's it. Maybe perhaps you circle round, so moving forwards and then sitting towards your heels, just to give yourself a little bit of a movement in the hips. And then looking down towards the mat, so your gaze is in between the space where your hands are, and you're going to inhale and drop the belly towards the mat as you look up as high as you can. So your tailbone is pushing away, so you've got that lovely arch in your back. And then on the exhale, you round down like a cat, pulling in the tummy, dropping the head down, chin to the chest, and now you're looking through your legs. So you really are arching that spine. And then inhale as you push up, and tailbone tucked away. And then exhale, pulling down. So really rounding. So 3 more in your own time, watching your breath. So you inhale as you come up and exhale as you come down. So 2 more, and just try and see whether you can imagine that space that's being created in your spine, in each vertebra, as you breathe and as you round and as you arch. Just try to move your spine into that lovely, lovely stretch on each part. And then come to neutral. So now tuck your toes under. You're going to lift up the knees and you're going to push away from the shoulders, push away from the hands. So lifting the knees, lifting up the tailbone towards the sky and pushing away, keeping the knees bent. And we're now into bent leg downward dog. Okay, so you're just going to walk 1 foot at a time down. Start to open up the back of the legs. And just feel your body. Notice what it's like at this point, okay? Your head is looking down towards the middle of the mat. And what you're not doing is you're not having your shoulders above your wrists like this. You are trying to open up your shoulders, your armpits, and you're pushing your armpits towards your feet. So you've got more of a wider angle at your wrists. Sometimes if people are too far forward, their wrists hurt. So you are trying to push away and just expand that angle. So now we're into downward dog. So relaxing the head, looking towards the center of the mat. Your heels don't have to be down on the floor, but you're lifting up your spine. So you're lifting up your hips towards the ceiling. Sometimes people round down, sometimes perhaps there's a roundness in the back like this. We're trying to stretch that back out. Okay, so you might still have a bend in your knees, and that's fine, but you can still lift your hips up high towards the sky. So I'm going to have 3 breaths here, and just notice your downward dog. So lift up the tummy into towards the spine, and just breathe. Now this is a resting pose, but just breathe and notice what's happening inside your body. And then inhale and look towards your hands, and then just gently start to walk your feet towards the middle of your mat, and then bring your hands towards your feet. So now we're into forward fold. You might need to have a bend in your knees, and that's fine. So you're trying to get your hands as close to your heels, either side of your feet as you can, and relax your head. So lift up the shoulders so that you've got that nice long neck. Relax the head. Lift up the tummy into that cavity there towards the spine, and then see whether you can straighten the legs. Notice your breathing. How are you breathing in this position? Is it shallow? Is it in the nostrils? And then bend the knees, and we're going to gently uncurl one vertebra at a time. So keeping the head down, the head will come up last. Gently start to uncurl, relaxing the arms as you come up, and then coming up to standing position. And then we're now in mountain pose, so Tadasana. Wow, we've got a beautiful sunshine joining us as we're going to start our sun salutations. So big toes together, slight gap in between your heels, and just see whether you can lift up your kneecaps. I'll show you from the side. So you're lifting up your kneecaps, keeping those legs strong. Don't push the bum out or don't push it forward. Try to get it into that neutral position so that the legs are nice and strong. Pulling in the tummy, relaxing the shoulders. So lift the shoulders up, take them behind you, and then drop the hands down. So feel that energy coming through the arms, fingertips extended towards the mat, and the head gently resting on top of the spine. And just notice the energy. So if it feels comfortable, just close your eyes and notice the energy, notice the gentle sway of the body, and just 3 breaths here. Connect to what's happening to your body and your breath. And then gently open your eyes and just relax. I'm going to show you what we're going to do for sun salutations. You may have seen this before if you've been to my classes before, but just watch because there's always a little bit of a variation. So you need to start off with standing towards the front of your mat. I'm going to show you side on, but if you're doing it from this position, then that's absolutely fine. So we start here in our mountain pose, nice and strong. And then we inhale, hands to the sky, Bend the knees and slowly bend down. Exhale into your forward fold. So this is forward fold. Then hands on your feet. We slide into halfway lift. So we look forwards, a nice flat back. Then we bend the knees, drop the hands shoulder distance apart onto the mat. Then we step back as far as we can with one foot, join it with the other, and this is high plank. Now, option to keep your knees down or keep your knees up. And then we gently bend the elbows down, chaturanga, keeping them tight so you're lowering your forehead to the mat. And then once your forehead's on the mat, flatten your feet and then gently push up into baby cobra to start with. A gentle back bend, elbows tucked in, looking forwards. Then tuck your toes under. You can come up through your knees, pushing your hips back into downward dog, and 3 breaths in downward dog. So make your adjustments, pushing your armpits away. So after the 3 breaths, you take one foot and you gentle step forward or walk your hands towards your feet, walk your feet towards your hands, forward fold, and then halfway lift on an inhale, flat back into forward fold, and then bending the knees as you uncurl, arms out to the side, palms together, and then bringing the hands through your center line past your heart into Tadasana, into mountain pose. So the sun is joining us on the sun salutations this afternoon, and we can gather up all that energy together. So are you ready? Standing towards the front of your mat, feet together, big toes together, slight gap in between your heels. Find yourself in that mountain pose and just connect your energy to the earth. And then we'll inhale, take the arms up to the sky, looking up to the hands, bend the knees and arms down to the side and then to your feet into forward fold. So forward fold for 3 breaths, looking at your knees, pulling up your kneecaps, relaxing the neck, lifting the shoulder blades away from the ears. You may have that bend in your knees, that's absolutely fine. One more breath. And then hands on your feet. You're going to inhale and slide the hands up towards your knees as you lift your shoulders into flat back, halfway lift, looking forwards. And then bending the knees back into forward fold. Trying to keep those kneecaps lifted. And then bend the knees, put the hands either side of the feet. You're going to step back as far as you can with one foot and then step back with the other foot into high plank. So shoulders above the wrists. Put your knees down on the mat if you want to, or you can keep them up, and then gently bend the elbows down, slowly allowing the forehead to come towards the mat. And then when you're down on the mat, flatten your feet. And then gently keeping the elbows tucked in towards your ribs, pushing yourself up into baby cobra. So looking forwards, keeping the elbows bent and really pushing the tops of the feet into the mat. Keep breathing. And then tuck the toes under, come up onto your knees and push back into your downward dog. So resting here in downward dog for 3 breaths. So lifting up the hips, remember you can still have your knees bent. Lift up those hips, push those armpits towards the knees. One more breath. And then inhale, look towards your hands, and you can walk your feet towards your hands, or you can step one foot, then the other foot, and into forward fold. So big toes together, lift up your knees, lift up your shoulders. Lovely. You might find you can straighten your legs a bit more on this forward fold, or you can keep your knees bent. Then hands on your feet. Inhale as you slide the hands up the shins, looking forward, keeping a flat back. And exhale back into forward fold. And then bending the knees. Inhale as you take the arms out to the side, slowly uncurl, one vertebrae at a time. Hands above your head, prayer position as you bring the hands down towards your heart center and into Tadasana. Notice how you feel. Notice that strength. Notice that sunshine. Sun salutations are great for whole body movement and whole body strength and mobility. So we'll try that again. So standing at the front of your mat, keeping yourself mindful. Notice the connection with your feet to the earth. And then inhale, hands to the sky. Bend the knees and forward fold. Exhale when your hands are towards the floor. Lifting up the knees, lifting up the shoulders. And then hands on the feet. Inhale as you slide up to halfway lift. Look forward, flat back. And exhale back into forward fold. Keeping those legs nice and strong. Then bend the knees, plant the hands either side of your feet. Step back with the other leg this time first. So step back as far as you can. Let the other foot join it, high plank. Now, see whether you can keep your knees up. Bending the elbows, gently take your body down towards the mat with control. And then once you're flat on the mat, flatten your feet. Then this time, pushing up into Cobra, so you can keep your elbows bent, or if you can push up a bit further, then that's maybe into full Cobra with straight arms, pushing the front of your feet down into the mat, keeping your legs strong. Notice your breathing. And then tuck your toes under, and then lift up the knees, push back into your downward dog. Make your adjustments, maybe just check your feet aren't too close towards your hands. You need to be pushing those shoulders, those armpits away from your hands, and let the head relax, looking into the middle of the mat. And just breathe here for 3 breaths, lifting up the hips. Feel that energy. And then inhale, look forward. This time take the other foot, step it towards your hands, then the second foot into your forward fold. Inhale, slide the hands up the shins to halfway lift and back to forward fold. And then bending the knees, slowly start to take the arms out to the side, reaching them up to your head, palms together, and then draw that line through your center, past your heart, and into your mountain pose. So we are in Tadasana. Feel that energy. So now we are going to move into a version of tree pose. So we can start with our hands on our hips, and we are going to just take the weight onto that right foot by bending that left knee and coming up onto the toes. Now, if you want to, you can have your arms out to the side, or you can have them in your cactus arms, or you can keep them on your hips. I'm going to keep them on my hips for now. And then I'm just going to focus on a spot in the distance. And then I'm gradually just going to lift up the toes of my foot and place it on top of the other foot. So I'll show you from the side. So we are keeping that balance on one foot, keeping that tailbone tucked down, keeping that tummy pulled in, shoulders back. And then if you can, gently lift that knee up to a right angle and keep focusing on that spot in the distance. Now at this point you can take your arms out to the side, shoulder height, or you can have cactus arms, or you can keep them on your waist, on your hips, whatever feels comfortable for you. And if you're wobbling, that shows you're alive. And it's okay if you need to put your foot back down, you can put your foot back down, just resting, but keep that gaze, keep that focus. And then inhale, exhale, come down. Okay, so a really good strengthening exercise for the ankle and for the leg. We don't do this very often in day-to-day life, and sometimes if we're feeling wobbly, it might be because our head's busy, our head's a bit scattered. So it's good to ground ourselves physically and to focus on that point in the distance, and then start to let the head and the mind focus as well. So we'll try that on the other side. So hands on your hips. So lift up the heel of the other foot, just so that you can get the feeling of the weight being transferred to that grounding foot. And then just lift that foot off the floor and put it on top of the other foot if you can. If it's easier to take your arms out to the side, you could always have one hand on a wall. If that just gives you that extra bit of support, and just focus your gaze. So focus your gaze and something on in the distance. I'll show you from the side. You stay where you are. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift up that knee so that it's at a right angle, and focus for 3 breaths. So feel that grounding with the foot that's on the mat. Allow yourself to wobble if that's okay. Drop your foot down if that's a bit easy. You could always have your foot on the floor, your big toe touching the floor, just to give yourself that balance. One more breath. And then inhale, exhale. Well done. Very tricky sometimes, that pose. And sometimes we don't have to get into the full pose to be able to practice that. So let's now do our final vinyasa and come down to our mat. So towards the front of your mat, mountain pose, looking forwards. And then inhale, hands to the sky. Bend the knees. Exhale, forward fold. 3 breaths here in forward fold. Really try and make this one count. Lifting up your knees, spreading your shoulder blades across your back, relaxing the neck. And just try and lift the tummy button towards the spine. Hands on your feet. Inhale as you slide up your shins to halfway lift, looking forwards. Exhale back to forward fold. And then bend the knees, plant the hands either side of the feet, and inhale, step back as far as you can with one foot, join it with the other. Keep your knees up if that feels okay, and gently bend the elbows down as you bring your forehead to the mat, and then flatten your feet. Then make sure that your fingers are spread wide and your thumbs are at nipple height, and then you push up into your back bend cobra. So really keep those legs strong, push the front of the feet into the mat, looking forward, relax the shoulders down the back, feel that lovely stretch, that lovely compression in the lower spine. And then tuck the toes under, push back into downward dog. So make your adjustments, trying to get those legs straight, lifting up the hips to the sky. Really feel that strength in every single part of your body. And then inhale, look forward, bring the knees down, and then big toes together, widen the knees. We're going to sit back down now. So really sit down so that your bottom is touching your heels. And we're going to go into child's pose. Now, if when you gently take your head forward, your bum comes off your heels, you need to have a block or a brick or a book or a cushion underneath your head, underneath your forehead, because you are trying to create that space in the lower back by pushing your bum down onto your heels. So if you aren't on your heels, then you need to lift up your head a little bit, okay? You can use 2 fists just underneath your forehead. And what you're trying to do, if you have got your arms extended, is you're trying to reach those fingers away from the shoulders. So the elbows are not on the mat. The whole of the arms are lifted and they're reaching forward, and it's your palms and your fingers and your thumbs that are walking themselves away from your shoulders. But if this means that your bum is coming off your heels, then push yourself back. And just notice your breathing in child's pose. Feel the expansion in the lower spine. Feel the expansion coming in towards your hips. And just start to allow the breath to deepen into the belly. One more breath. And then come up as you inhale into tabletop, and then just take your knees to the side and come and sit over on your bottom with your knees bent and your feet together and your spine nice and straight. So just watch what we're going to do next. You're going to have your feet hip distance apart, and we're going to gently just watch for a minute, roll down one vertebra at a time until we are laid down on the mat. And then we are going to go into bridge pose. So bridge pose, just watch. So feet are hip distance apart. If you've got a cushion or a block, put that in between your knees, because sometimes your knees spread out. You need to keep them in line with your feet. So make sure that you can touch your heels, and we're going to just have the hands either side of the hips, and you're going to inhale and just gently unpeel your spine by pushing those hips up and coming up to your shoulder blades. So you're on your shoulder blades, your chest is lifted, your hips are lifted, and your neck is soft. And we're going to hold this position for 5 breaths. Okay, so we're all seated. So feet are hip distance apart. Okay, you're up on your sit bones. Reach forward, perhaps with the fingers pointing forwards, looking towards your hands, and then gently start to lower your spine one vertebra at a time with control. That's it. Well done. Slowly as you can until your spine is on the floor and your head is down on the mat. So if you've got something to put in between your knees, then do that, just to keep, even if it's a rolled up jumper or just something you've got handy, cushion off the settee. Okay, so put that in between your knees and then just reach down so that you can touch your heels. Bring your feet towards your bum so you can touch your heels. Then put your hands, palms down, just by your sides. And then you're going to gently, on the inhale, lift up your tailbone, push your hips towards the sky, and push as far as you can to arch that back. So make sure you come up onto the flat parts of your shoulder blades, and make sure that you're squeezing whatever it is you've got in between your knees, and you're relaxing your neck. So relax the neck, relax your gaze, relax your throat, but feel those thighs engaging. Feel that spread of the hips as you push them towards the sky. That must be 2 breaths by now, so we'll do 3 more. Relax your toes. Try not to let them grab hold of the mat or the floor or the carpet. If you need to come out of it, of course, then just gently, 1 vertebra at a time, start to lower your spine down. And then I think we're nearly there now. So we'll inhale, and on an exhale, 1 vertebra at a time. That feels good. Oh, just let your spine come down. And then maybe just bring your knees into your chest. Give your body a little bit of a rock either side. And then bringing the feet back down. We'll try that 1 more time. So just check you can touch your heels. And palms flat on the floor. And then are we ready? So we inhale as we lift up the hips, pushing up that spine towards the ceiling. And the chest comes towards the chin. So again, you might want to flatten your shoulder blades, bring them closer together. Really squeezing whatever you've got between your knees. Keeping those thighs strong. Relax your gaze. Relax your toes. And breathe. So 3 more breaths here. Come out a bit if you need to. Last breath and a half. And then inhale. And then gently take the spine down, 1 vertebra at a time. And then take whatever it is you've had in between your knees and just bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice rock from side to side. Okay, bringing the feet down towards the mat. Take your arms, palms facing upwards at shoulder height, so like a T. And then you're gently just going to take the knees over to the side into a gentle twist. So dropping the knees down. I'll show you from the other side. So dropping the knees down and just breathe in here. Now, it doesn't matter if your knees go to the floor or not, but if you do have that cushion and you just want to pop that underneath the lower knee, just for some support, then just do that. And just let your feet rest on the sides of the feet. And just feel that lovely twist on the side body. Soft gaze, perhaps close the eyes. And you're just letting your body sink to one side, still trying to keep your shoulders, both shoulders flat on the mat if you can. And then inhale and bringing the knees back to center. And then exhale, take them across to the other side. So you're keeping the shoulders flat on the floor. Shoulders to the other, knees to the other side. Again, use that cushion or jumper or whatever underneath if your knees don't get to the floor. And just let your body soften. You can always take your head to the opposite side of your knees for a gentle twist along the neck. And then inhale, bring the knees back up to center and give the knees a hug. Bringing the knees in And then keeping the hands with the palms down towards your bottom, just see if you can gently extend your soles of the feet towards the sky. So you're in an L shape. So your feet are together, the soles of your feet are as if they're trying to reach up flat towards the ceiling. And you're just letting all that blood come down your feet, down your legs, and back up to your heart. And then just bring the knees apart and just put your forearms underneath your knees and just give yourself a little bit of a wiggle so your knees are apart. We're just going to have a little bit more space inside the hips. So you can take hold of your shins with your feet, your soles pointing towards the sky, and bending the knees. So you're trying to bring the knees as close to your sides as you can, just to create some space inside the hips. And this is our happy baby pose. So you can wiggle, you can gurgle, or you can just stay still and breathe and just feel those hips opening up. If you can take hold of the inside or the outside of your feet. And if you want to maybe move one leg and then the other, try and straighten them, or just stay still. It's up to you. And then bringing the knees together, feet together, gently take the feet down towards the mat. And then slide one foot down the mat so it's extended, and let the other foot join it. So now we get it into relaxation, Shavasana. So get yourself comfortable. Palms facing upwards, let the feet drop out. You can have your arms as close to your body or as far away as possible. You can have them at shoulder height. If you need to have a block underneath your head to support your head, if it feels if it's thrown back too much, then do that. You might have your jumper to put around your feet or underneath your knees, and you're there just getting yourself as relaxed as possible for the next few minutes. So closing the eyes, letting the body sink down into the mat. Getting yourself comfortable. Maybe if you've got a blanket, putting a blanket over you. And just letting yourself go. Letting yourself sink down into the mat. Feeling the contact points of your body to the mat. So starting with your feet, relaxing your feet, relaxing your toes. And now saying to your feet, you are now relaxed. Moving up to your knees and your calves, your lower legs and your upper legs. Feel them sink down, spreading across the mat. Feeling heavy, feeling warm. And now telling them mentally, you are now relaxed. Moving up to your hips, your lower back, and the pelvic area, the abdominal area. Noticing the gentle rise and fall of the belly as your breath deepens. And noticing the heaviness and the space around that region, dissolving down into the mat. And now saying to yourself, you are now relaxed. Moving up to the middle back, the shoulders, the shoulder blades, and the chest. Feeling the breath coming into the lungs, expanding the rib cage. And resting back down on the exhale, allowing the curve of the spine to gently sink down into the mat. And with each breath, the body softens, it relaxes. And now you can say to your middle body, you are now relaxed. Notice the arms and the elbows touching down. Notice the forearms and the backs of the hands resting down onto the floor. The gentle curl of the fingers. Feeling the softness in the arms. And you now say to your arms, you are relaxed. Notice the tops of the shoulders soft. The neck is relaxed. The back of the head is heavy and cushioned against the floor, against the carpet. Feeling the space around the crown of the head. And noticing the front of the head, the forehead. The tension has gone, it's smooth and soft. Notice the eyes gently resting behind the eyelids. Notice the nose, soft and relaxed. Notice the ears on the side of the head and the temples, feeling warm and relaxed. Notice the mouth with the lips perhaps slightly parted. Notice the teeth and the tongue gently resting in the bottom of the mouth. And the jaw is relaxed and soft. Your whole head is now relaxed. And just now, as you lie here in peace, warmth and comfort, enjoy the next few moments of relaxation. And then we'll finish off with a seated meditation. So stay there for a few moments, and then I'll let you know when it's time to move. Now, just start to bring some movement into your fingers, into your toes. Maybe just give them a little wiggle. Maybe you need to take your arms over your head and give yourself a long body stretch. Maybe dropping your head from one side and then the other. And then just gently bringing one foot back onto the floor, sliding that foot onto the floor, bending the knee, and then the other one. And just gently taking your knees and your body over to lie on one side. Perhaps you'll still have your eyes closed. And then gently start to push yourself up to a seated position. Removing the flesh from your sit bones. Finding that alert position. Make sure that your eyes are open now. And all that tension should have gone now in your body. And one of the most important things in yoga is to focus on the mind. So we always finish our class with a seated meditation. So find yourself in that comfortable seated position. You might even be sat with your back against the settee or back against the wall. And just get yourself ready for the last couple of minutes of the class. So I invite you to close your eyes and notice your body in this room right now. Notice the sit bones, notice the contact between your body and whatever it's resting against. And notice how your body feels now at the end of the class compared to nearly an hour ago. And now take your mindfulness to your breath. Where do you notice your breath most now? If it was shallow at the start of the class, is it more deep? Is it slower? Do you feel that the breath is needing longer to enter into your body and come down into your belly and let your belly expand? And then contract as the breath moves back out of the body. Follow the breath from the nostrils into the chest, into the belly, and then back out, up the chest and out through the nostrils. And just follow 3 more breaths, keeping your mind on your breath, keeping that focus if you can. And then finally bringing your hands, palms together into prayer position if that feels comfortable for you, or you can leave them down by your legs. Keeping your eyes closed, just remind yourself of your intention that you set at the start of the class. I am calm. And repeat it to yourself 3 times. And then bowing your head, giving thanks to yourself for your practice today. Give thanks to one other thing in your life that you're grateful for right now. Namaste.